Filion here with another video for you. Today we're speaking about the 6 core strengths that build resiliency. This is part 1. I've divided it into 2 different parts because it's a little bit long. So this is how these different factors affect your children's heart and their learning. So just as a background, socialization is a catch-all phrase that encompasses a number of areas. And a lot of times what the general public sees as socialization, according to psychology, is not the same thing. So it represents what society sees as a healthy child, includes 6 core strengths that children need to have to be resilient to life. So they are, and these are hierarchical. So you need the first one in order to go to the second one, and so on and so forth. So you have attachment, self-regulation, affiliation. We'll do these 3 in this video, and then awareness, tolerance, and respect. So attachment is the foundation upon which all other core strengths are based. And there's 2 different types of attachment that we'll end up speaking about. So the primary initial attachment and the secondary attachment in relationships. And the primary one, as you can well imagine, is usually with parents or caregivers. The secondary one is with peers. But if the primary attachment isn't done properly, peer attachment just doesn't go as well as we would want. So the primary initial attachment, this is the attachment that's formed in the first 36 months of life. So signs of struggle. A child who has difficulty with this strength has a hard time making friends, trusting adults, and has little empathy for others. The primary initial attachment has few friends, disconnected from peers, at greater risk when exposed to violence. They lack emotional anchors needed to buffer the violence that they do see, and they may self-isolate, act out, reject a peer's friendly overture because they distrust it, or they are socially withdrawn. So sometimes in our society, we say that children have social anxiety disorder, but sometimes it is a core strength issue. The second one is self-regulation, and that's containing our impulses. So self-regulation includes the ability to notice and control primary urges that include hunger, sleep, frustration, anger, and fear. So when a child or a person experiences these 5, then are they able to contain their emotions, or do they just explode? So if they just explode, then it's an issue in self-regulation. Okay, so it's containing impulses. So it begins with the external controls we put on our children. We must realize that a child being able to develop internal controls is dependent on our teaching them internal controls. Wouldn't it be nice if they were just born with all of these internal controls? I'm sure every mother would put up their hand and say, oh yes. So transferring the external controls into the internal is self-regulation, and it's accomplished through a child's experience and brain maturation. So they have to be a certain age in order to be able to do this also. So why is it important? Well, putting a moment between an impulse and an action is an essential skill. Acquiring this strength helps the child physiologically and emotionally, but it's a strength that must be learned. Again, we're not born with this. So signs of struggle. A child can have problems sustaining friendships. Again, in learning and controlling behavior, may blurt out a thoughtless or hurtful remark, express hurt or anger with a shove, or by knocking another child's work. May be set off or upset by seeing a violent act, react immaturely, they're very impressionable, and they're more easily overwhelmed by threats and violence. The third one is affiliation, and that by definition is being part of a group. The capacity to join others and contribute to a group. This strength springs from our ability to form attachments. So affiliation is the glue for healthy human functioning. It allows us to form and maintain relationships with others to create something stronger, more adaptive, and more creative than the individual. So affiliation, why is it important? Well, human beings are social creatures. We're biologically designed to live, play, grow, and work in groups. So a family is a child's first and most important group. glued together by the strong emotional bonds of attachment. Remember, they're hierarchical. So affiliation helps children feel included, connected, and valued. And this is a question that I often ask kids. What groups do you belong to? And so if a child says, I don't belong to any groups, then I'm like, maybe we need to work on this particular core strength. So signs of struggle. Children who are afraid to affiliate may suffer from what I call self-fulfilling prophecies of being included or excluded, excuse me. We have these mirror neurons right behind our forehead here. And you know how when you walk into a room, you kind of get a sense for what's going on in the room? Well, those mirror neurons, not only do you take in information, but you also give out information. So let's say somebody walks into your room and their mirror neurons are saying, you guys aren't going to like me. That usually happens. So the self-fulfilling prophecy is positive and negative. So healthy development of attachment and self-regulation make affiliation easier. So distant, disengaged, and or impulsive children are not easily welcomed into group. Okay? If a child is part of a group, it may lead others or to tease and actively avoid him. So the excluded, marginalized child can take this as painful and turn it inward and become sad or self-loathing, or they can turn it outward, become aggressive and even violent. And there are certain children that kind of oscillate between the two. These children are more likely to seek out other marginalized children and affiliate with them. Unfortunately, the glue that holds these groups together can be beliefs and values that are self-destructive or hateful to those who have excluded them. So more information on this, please subscribe to my channel. There's my website and my email, and you can contact me for consulting. Thank you so much for listening. I'll have part 2 for you very soon. Thank you. Bye.